since these guys on TV, they making this crazy amount of money, but it's never like that. It never was like that. So when I fought Ricky Burns in Scotland and won my first title, I come back home and I got to fight Gamboa. I'm thinking they're going to pay me like $1 million.
Yeah.
Nah. So I'm like, what? You know, I just fought this dude. I just went over there. And
you remember what the purse was?
It was like 500,000.
For champion?
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. You know, because that's the type of person that I am. I believe in myself.
I am very sorry for Terence's actions. His actions led to the WBC decide something.
Since these guys are on TV, people assume they're making insane amounts of money. But that's never the reality. It never was. When I fought Ricky Burns in Scotland and won my first world title, I came back home thinking everything would change. I had to fight Jumbo next, and in my mind, I'm expecting $1 million payday. Yeah, no. So I'm sitting there like, what? I just fought this dude overseas. I just became champion. And this is what I get. Do you remember what the purse was? It was like $500,000, $500,000. As the champion, I just told myself, okay, because that's the kind of person I am. I always believe in myself. I am very sorry for Terence's actions. What he did forced the WBC to make a decision. Terence Crawford just did what no fighter has ever dared to do. He's taking on the most powerful organization in boxing, and he's doing it in court. Crawford has officially filed a $50 million lawsuit against the WBC, accusing them of corruption, favoritism, and financial exploitation.
Mauricio, you know, got a lot to say about me not paying him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? They ain't gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the fuck you think I am?
This is the same council that once crowned him champion, the same organization that helped elevate his rise is now directly in his crosshairs. It all started when Crawford refused to pay the sanctioning fees for his title defenses. What began as a quiet disagreement over paperwork and percentages has now erupted into a legal firestorm, shaking the sport to its core. And the best part, the entire boxing world is watching. Errol Spence has spoken. Dana White has weighed in. Even Oscar de la Hoya is furious. Everyone has a sigh. But before we dive into the lawsuit and all the chaos it unleashed, we need to rewind to the exact moment the boxing world flipped upside down.
He never paid the sanction fees for that fight. His next fight was Canelo Alvarez. He fought for the WBC title as well as the other three organizations, and he won the WBC title and the undisputed. He became undisputed, and he did not pay the sanction fees for the fight.
December 3rd, Bangkok, Thailand. At the WBC convention, the unthinkable happens. The council officially strips Terence Bud Crawford of his world super middleweight title. Their reasoning: he supposedly failed to pay sanctioning fees for two of his biggest fights, the mega showdown with Canelo Alvarez and his match against Israel Madrimov. To the WBC, it was just business. To Crawford, it was betrayal. Hours later, he went online and dropped an 8-minute video that instantly went viral.
Boy, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about paying you $300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any of the other sanctioned bodies, huh?
Cliffus' words were brutal. You, the WBC, you got the green belt, which doesn't mean anything. The real belt is the ring belt, which is free. You want me to pay more than other sanctioning bodies. Keep the belt. It's just a trophy anyway. But that wasn't just a rant.
Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you the WBC think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit, fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker.
Crawford wasn't simply angry. He had just publicly rejected one of boxing's most powerful governing bodies, calling their belt worthless. Fans cheered his honesty, but the WBC wasn't going to let that slide. WBC President Mauricio Suleiman moved quickly to control the narrative. He called the situation very unfortunate, but insisted they had no choice. Crawford chose not to follow the rules. We had no other option. Suleiman claimed the fees Crawford refused to pay were small, and most of the money went to the Jose Suleiman Boxers Fund, a charity for retired fighters.
And which is unfortunate. Most of that money was allotted. It was going to go to the Jose Suleiman Boxers Fund, which helps so many fighters around the world. But it's unfortunate that it will carry on this as a money matter, which is not.
Contrary to popular belief, it's not 3% on huge fights, he said. We adjust fees of the $300,000 fee. $1 to $125,000 went to the fund. Only $75,000 went to pay our employees. Suleiman doubled down on the WBC's integrity. Every single penny that comes into the WBC goes back to boxing. We only care about the boxers. But his explanation didn't calm anyone. It created more controversy. Many in the sport were skeptical. With huge conventions, luxury dinners, and mysterious accounting, fighters were asking the same question: where is the money really going? And that's when Crawford's longtime rival decided to speak point.
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, I think he should have talked about it, before, because now he's talking about it when he don't need the WBC anymore. And he should have talked about it, way back when I said something, he should have spoke up and said something about it too, so.
When Errol Spence Jr., Crawford's rival and one of the sport's sharpest voices, commented, fans paid attention. I mean, it makes sense, but he should have talked about it back then, Spence said. Now he's saying something when he doesn't even need the WBC anymore. Spence's tone was calm, but his message cut deep. He didn't defend the WBC, in fact. He echoed Crawford's biggest complaint: lack of accountability. We need to know where the money's going. All we see is big dinners, big conventions, and awards, but no accounting. We don't know where the money goes. Even a rival could see cracks forming in the system.
We definitely see, there need to be some account of where's the money going, because, we don't know. Is it going to, because all we see is like them having, big dinners at fights and big dinners fights and, they have big, what's the things they be throwing? Big annual, conventions and things like that. So, it should be accounting of where the money going, like Canelo's huge purse. And then you get 3% of that or whatever y'all agree on.
Crawford wasn't just fighting for himself. He was exposing something bigger. But while Spence stayed balanced, the next reaction came from someone who does not do balance: Dana White. When the UFC boss speaks about boxing, the entire sport listens, even if it hates what he said.
Listen, if you look at how this thing's playing out, first of all, let me say this. I love that all these boxing guys love the Ali Act the way it is now. I want to see how many of them actually stay there and do that version of the Ali Act instead of the add-on that we're going to do.
White did not hold back. When asked about Crawford being stripped and the WBC's handling of the situation, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see what's going on. The guys crying the loudest are the problem. He made it clear Crawford didn't need approval from anyone to speak out. Nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford is his own man doing his own thing. And that's how he feels. You know what I mean.
You know what I mean? You don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to see what's going on with all these guys. All these guys that are crying the loudest are the fucking problems. They're the problem, every one of these guys. And, you know, Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And
White even took a shot at boxing promoters defending this system. All these promoters saying the Ali Act is perfect. I want to see them stay in it. I guarantee they won't. Classic Dana. Bold, raw, and brutally honest. And with his support, Crawford's rebellion suddenly looked less like a meltdown and more like a movement.
you know, all these promoters are saying the Ali Act is perfect and this is the way it should be. I want to see them all stay in it. I want every one of them to stay in the Ali Act as it is now for the next however many years. All right.
While Dana was cheering from the sidelines, another legend saw things very differently. If there's one thing Oscar de la Hoya hates, it's fighters disrespecting boxing tradition. Crawford's comments hit him directly in the pride. In a fiery Instagram video on December 4th, the Golden Bow promoter made his stance clear.
Today I'm pretty pissed off. Terence Crawford, he told the WBC to basically go f themselves yesterday and is refusing to pay sanctioning fees to them for his $50 million fight against Canelo. $50 million!
Today, I'm pretty pissed off. Terence Crawford basically told the WBC to go F*** themselves after making $50 million against Canelo. He accused Crawford of arrogance and hypocrisy. Did he forget where he came from? How do you think you reached that level?
Did he forget where he came from? Or how he got there? How do you think you rose to that level? Through the ranking system. You get positioned.
La Hoya didn't stop there. He mocked Crawford's claim that only the ring belt matters. Now suddenly the WBC is the enemy. Please, the money must have gone to your head. He ended with a personal shot. I thought you had integrity. Crawford, I thought you respected the sport.
Really, the WBC is the enemy and the ring belt is the only one that matters? I mean, seriously, Suleiman has to be rolling in his grave. Literally. I mean, it sounds like you're reading a script or something. Come on, you've been the ring mouthpiece and the chosen one since they came on board 2 years ago.
It was clear the old guard wasn't ready for Crawford's rebellion. But while the boxing world split into factions, one fighter tried to be the peacemaker. Through all the chaos, Danny Garcia stepped up, calm, balanced, and diplomatic. I see both sides, Garcia said. They're both right in their own ways. A rare neutral voice in a storm of opinion.
Both ways. I see the WBC, I see Terence. They both right, to be honest. They both right. They both right in their own ways. Feel me?
Barcha understood Crawford's frustration, but also recognized the structure the WBC brings. His words offered a moment of calm in the chaos. But behind the scenes, Crawford was preparing his next move, one that would shake the boxing world. Just days after being stripped, Crawford struck back with paperwork, not punches. He filed a $50 million lawsuit against the WBC, accusing them of financial mismanagement, exploitation, and violating the Ali Act. The lawsuit argues fighters deserve to know exactly where their sanctioning fees go.
What are you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agree to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you?
For context, his fight with Canelo Alvarez reportedly generated over $50 million, meaning the WBC's share could have been enormous. This case might redefine how boxing economics work. If Crawford wins, sanctioning bodies worldwide could be forced to expose their books and justify every dollar collected from fighters. He's not suing just for money, he's suing for change. But what happens if he actually wins? A successful lawsuit could set a historic legal precedent under the Ali Act, forcing transparency on organizations that have operated behind closed doors for decades. Other champions may follow, challenging the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. Boxing's entire power structure could shift overnight, but there's a dark side. Crawford could be blacklisted. shut out of title fights, and frozen out of the biggest events.
That don't even make sense. I'm the motherfucker that's putting my life on the line, not you. You ain't stepping your motherfucking ass in that ring. You were nobody else. You were nobody else.
Industry doesn't forgive rebels easily. Mauricio Suleiman, for his part, has tried to stay respectful. I respect Crawford. I wish him success. He's always welcome back, he said recently. But after all the accusations, insults, and now a massive lawsuit, that door may already be closing. Crawford may have lost his belt, but in doing so, he may have begun the most important fight of his life, not in the ring, but in court.
The matter is, there are rules, there are structures, there are forms, and the WBC only reason for existence is the fighter, the boxer.
Is taking on an empire that controls the very foundation of the sport. So what do you think? Is Terence Crawford right for challenging the WBC and exposing a system that drains fighters? Or did he just burn the last bridge he had left in boxing? Let me know in the comments. And for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and action, subscribe Touring Y Extra Turn on notifications, and check out our other videos.